33% of you, 33% of viewers start dying very quickly. And no, this is not an exaggeration. According to a study, individuals with the A positive blood group are susceptible to even a common viral fever. You can also die from this. In fact, 40% of people who died from COVID had a blood group of positive play. Let me tell you, 1 plus 1 equals a rather quirky fantasy. Imagine if you accidentally get a cut somewhere and instead of red, your body starts, green blood comes out. This tie event matters. In 2007, during an operation in the operating theater, doctors observed that a 42-year-old Canadian woman was undergoing surgery. Instead of red, the patient's veins carry green blood. But how could green blood come out of a person's veins? To understand this, let's perform an experiment, one that allows you to test your blood group at home. But I would say I am doing it, not you. So the experiment is quite simple, so let's just do it. So, to perform this experiment, we essentially need blood, a porcelain plate, and a liquid anti-serum there. And D, which you can find in any medical store. Now we have all the ingredients. So first you need to drop the reagent on 3 spots of the spot plate, and then for each spot, eat it people and be pod. Each aunt is dropping by to see Sarah. To do so, we need to find out which anti-thing affects the blood cell. Basically, antigens mean various kinds and proteins. Now, if there's a color change in your spot, it means your blood cells have A antigen. And your blood group is, if there's a change in B, you have blood group B. And if there's a change in both A and B or not, blood group AB. And if there's no color change at all, then your blood group is. Now you might ask, what about the D anti-serum in Gaurav's third spot? There's no blood group called D, right? H negative does not exist, but our antigens certainly do. The presence or absence means positive or negative, meaning if the color changes, then, and if it doesn't happen, then it doesn't happen. If the anti-Sera changes color but not for D, which blood group would that be? Now friends, are you aware that today there is such a rare blood type available in the world? Only 43 people in the world have this wealth. They own 2 golden blocks, or in scientific language call it Rh Null, meaning the absence of recess. Now, as we know, gold is such a metal that can be mixed with any other metal. The work of this blood group is quite similar. It can be given to anyone among the 33 different blood groups present in the world, and the person's body will accept it. But as I said, this is a very rare blood group, and therefore, while it may be a boon for others, it will be a curse for him. This is the biggest curse for those 43 people. Can't lose them all 43 of 43. Each other. If by mistake someone needs blood, it's essential. Fell down, so blood reached that patient. This patient passed away. You see, there was a similar case in Switzerland where a 50-year-old person was fighting between life and death due to blood loss. Every blood bank in Switzerland, the patient's condition was getting worse than before. IMIT or and finally, by luck, they found a blood donor. But they are happy. He was 70 miles away from that patient. And that's why, to save his life, the hospital performed his surgery on the border of Paris, Switzerland. So from this case, you can guess how rare finding the original blood group can be and how fatal not finding a match can be. But there's no guarantee that receiving blood will improve the condition. Because see, the antigens present in our blood cells act against bacteria and viruses. They trigger fights. Now if antigens is not there, meaning the house becomes a body for foreign cells. And these foreign cells slowly start to damage the immune system first. And in many cases, it has also been observed that immune cells start attacking blood cells as if they were foreign cells, resulting in a decrease in the number of RBCs in the body. Now, fewer red blood cells mean less hemoglobin, which means less oxygen. And if the cells don't get proper oxygen, then the skin and all organs will turn pale. And if blood doesn't reach the organs, they will start failing one by one in a slow process, and this blood group will apply. Seems like it affects his career from the inside. Now, if you're thinking your blood group isn't rational and hence you're safe, I'd say that's a misconception. From birth to death, your blood group changes a total of 3 times, believe it or not. Several years ago, doctors came across a case where a 15-year-old boy's blood group was O positive at the age of 8. He was O and turned into A at the age of 25. Why does this happen, you might wonder? The primary reason is, actually for a few years after birth, RBCs are characterized by the absence of antigenic traces. And as we grow older, antigenic traces become stronger and take on a distinct blood group. But over time, these antigenic traces also fade. And that's why, in many cases, years later, a new blood group, it is detected. And another reason is bone marrow transplantation. Normally, 95% of blood cells in our body are protected by bone marrow. As soon as we undergo bone marrow transplant, the new bone marrow produces new RBCs and the blood group changes. But this is quite rare in cases. Let me share a secret with you. Something no doctor will ever tell you. From birth to death, no matter how many times your bone marrow changes your blood group, your blood type is crucial for your health. As I mentioned earlier, A+ blood group diseases are tracked very quickly. This significantly increases the chances of various types of cancers in those with A+ blood group. And this is because the galactose group at the end of antigen A binds very quickly with viruses. Not just type A blood, but types B and AB can also bind with viruses. Due to these, they also have a higher chance of getting cancer. But in comparison, it's relatively safe. Now this doesn't mean that people with O blood group are out of danger. The threat looms over them too at a slow pace. O blood types can lose their lives to a sudden heart attack while walking or moving. So every blood type has its advantages and disadvantages. Now about the green color blood. The reason behind this is sulfhemoglobin, usually due to iron oxygen. Our blood color is red, but sometimes sulfur atoms take the place of iron, and that's why a green color is formed. Because sulfur doesn't transfer oxygen into the body. Did you know that before the discovery of blood groups in the old days, then people used gene transfusion, used to do so, from animals to humans. Blood transfusion in 1667 by Frenchman Jean-Baptiste Denis used sheep's blood for a 15-year-old child and a pregnant lady. Was transferred into the bag, and in this transfusion, it both narrowly escaped death, but severe anemia had them in its grip, halting the process right there. Given then and even today in such cases, research is ongoing, but then a new trend started in that era. Anyone who was sick had the green drops of blood removed from their body, because they thought he was a bad influence. In fact, George Washington was also somewhat like this. After George Washington fell ill, every drop of blood was drained from his body, which greatly hastened his death. But as blood groups began to be discovered in the 1900s, scientists approached blood transfusion with renewed confidence. But considering today's population and the blood shortage, we act cautiously. Then we do a blood transfusion once. Research is done on the blood of animals for this, because there are many animals that transport oxygen very effectively, similar to humans. Take the example of marine lugworm Arenicola marina for instance. Hugworms carry oxygenated blood 40 times more than humans in comparison, meaning where a single hemoglobin protein in humans is only holding 4 oxygen molecules. On the other hand, how does the hemoglobin present in the blood of lugworm bind simultaneously to 156 oxygen molecules? That's why scientists are researching the blood of lugworms for human blood transfusion. In fact, lugworm blood was used in 2016 for organ transplantation. And after using these worms' blood, it was noticed that patients recover quite quickly. And a lot of improvements are seen in them in a very short time. They are also researching on the block of simultaneity peak and are trying to make it appear afterwards, making human-compatible blood practical. And if scientists succeed in this, patients waiting for blood in the world are doing so. You will get a lot of support, and watching this video, you will enjoy and learn something new. Do give a like. Subscribe to Get Set Fly Science channel for such interesting and knowledgeable content. See also. Stay curious friends, keep learning, keep growing.